Oh, life moves fast. One day you're playing kick the can with kids named Flick and Schwartz.
I triple dog dare you!
And the next thing you know, you're a certified adult.
Ralphie!
Ralph, dear old man.
Fragile.
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation, and our new holiday podcast.
Merry Christmas! And today we are covering A Christmas Story Christmas. It's the movie!
Yes! Now this movie was an exclusive to Max when it first was released as a special holiday event last year. And it serves as the true sequel to the original Christmas Story movie, with Ralphie now grown up with a family of his own, and he ends up returning to his hometown in Indiana after the news of his father's passing. And he promises a nice, quiet Christmas with his mother and the rest of the family. But of course, you know A Christmas Story, this doesn't happen.
Right. Before we start with that, be sure to like, subscribe, and notifications of future podcasts and little pause videos.
Yes, and thanks for taking time out of your busy holiday schedule to join us for this special podcast. We're so excited to share this with you. So if you haven't seen it, you'll rush to watch it this season.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, it was 2022 that it came out.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
So what's really special about this movie are three things. One, the house that A Christmas Story took place in, Billingsley actually purchased the home.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is the script was co-written by Billingsley with Nick Schenk from original story, co-written by Schenk and Peter Billingsley.
Yes, so it had the same writing team.
And the third thing that's really special is everyone that could come back and that is still alive came back.
Yeah.
And that made this so special.
Yeah.
We have resisted watching it because after Christmas Story 2, and you know that nightmare.
Right.
We were assuming it was going to be like that. And then after we found out it was really based around the passing of the old man, we were thinking this is going to be depressing. And then finally Rascal put it in, so you know, let's give it a try. And it was one of the best suggestions she's ever had.
Yeah, and yeah, that is pretty much why we hesitated watching it for so long, because we didn't want to see a movie be treated the same way like other adaptations where you start off with a really happy tone and a theme that made you love the first one, and like they get these legacy sequels later, they make them really just depressing or sad, or say, well, out with the old, in with the new, you need to get over this, you need to like this new one, and it's really smug about replacing a legacy movie with someone else they think is going to be superior. But luckily, none of that ever comes up in this movie. It's not trying to be better than the first Christmas Story. It's not trying to say that had issues, we're not doing it, you shouldn't like this movie, point out all the faults that didn't exist. It stays completely true to what the spirit of the original movie was, and we didn't even think that was going to be possible.
And they did a brilliant job. So it's considered a legacy sequel to A Christmas Story, and it's the 8th installment in the Parker family saga franchise, ignoring the events of the summer story. Now, it was produced by Billingsley and Vince Vaughn, so that's probably another reason it turned out great.
That's true. Perfect class.
Yes, along with Cale Boiter, Jay Ashenfelter, Mark Toberoff, and Erwin Zarling. So they had a lot of people who really wanted to make this a reality.
Yeah.
And clearly they all were on the same page, had the same love for the original Christmas Story, and really did a respectful sequel. The one it deserved, not that second one we got decades ago that was pretty horrible.
Right.
So, Peter Billingsley returns as, of course, Ralphie Parker, along with Ian Petrello playing his little brother. Also, the friends return: Scott Schwartz, Artie Robb, Zach Ward the bully, yes, and Yano Anyana returning as Randy Flick. So, Randy Flick, Schwartz, Scott Farkas, and Grover Gill, respectively. And Melinda Dillon didn't return playing the mom. She was replaced by Julie Haggerty. If you've seen the airplane film, she's the ditzy. Back then it was called stewardess.
Yeah, stewardess. That was it.
Stewardess. And then Juliana Lane plays Ralphie's wife.
Yes.
And they also have 2 kids, a boy and a girl.
Yes.
So this ends up being just as memorable a Christmas as the original Christmas Story movie.
Yes. And unlike the other sequel where it just kind of repeated the same exact beats as the first one because it was trying way too hard to make you remember, connect to the other movie. This one does it in a very tongue-in-cheek and loving way, where even at the end of the movie, when you're at the end credits, they show you a side-by-side comparison which times they were doing call-outs to the first movie, where on the left they had the original movie, and then their shot-for-shot reenactment in the new one. It'd be like Ralphie's a kid here, and then him growing up here, or a boy doing it here and a girl doing it there, and they kept doing it throughout the whole movie. It was like, hey, did you catch all these little references? Here you go. And it was really cool how it ended up being like a little game when you rewatch it. Like, can you catch all these times they referenced the other movie?
Yes, it was wonderful. So we'll give a shout out to the mom and the dad from the original movie, Darren McGavin. Old man Bumper says! Unfortunately, he passed away in 2006 at 83.
Yes.
And then, unfortunately, Melinda Dillon was in poor health, so she couldn't reprise the role, and she actually passed away less than 2 months after the release in 2022.
Oh, yeah.
So, unfortunately, neither of them got to see this beautiful, beautiful tribute to a movie that has become a Christmas classic all around the world. People love this movie. And now it's even difficult to find to purchase. Fortunately, we were able to get it used this year.
Right.
And I didn't care as long as we own it. So now we can watch it on DVD with no commercial breaks for the original Christmas Story.
Right.
And hopefully by this time, this year we'll have a Christmas Story Christmas to go along with it.
Right. Have a double feature.
So it's absolutely brilliant. When it originally released on the I'm trying to time today, guys, sorry. In October of 2022, with the full trailer, the trailer released in October, with the full trailer in November of 2022. And it made its TV debut last year, so I am correct. The
Yeah, it sure did. That's how we were able to watch it.
Airing on Warner Brothers, HBO, owned TNT, and TBS.
Right.
That's how we were able to watch it. So, how was it received? Well, we absolutely loved it.
Personally,
and we've been recommending it to everyone we know, especially last year after we watched it.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we know that Playmaker and his mom actually watched it and loved it as well.
Right.
And if you haven't seen it and you were hesitating like we were because you didn't think it was going to be any good because of the original second movie, couldn't be more wrong. This is just as brilliant, just as heartwarming, just as wonderful as the first one. And I love how all throughout the movie they show you some little clips of the mom and the dad from the first one.
Yes.
And they let you know that this is really a love story and a tribute to the original movie. And it's done so well. It's one of the most perfect tributes ever. If all sequels or tribute movies could be like this, everyone would be happy, and we'd just be giving everyone our money to watch these movies and buy them. Disney wish.
Right.
But because they aren't.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like we said earlier, why this is so beloved and why some other ones that have actually done it the right way are rewatched over and over. When you're doing a tribute to another movie, a classic, a legend, a company, a legacy, a franchise, a person who has made countless movies and stories, whether they're here or passed on. The thing is, a lot of these people that are in charge of it want to be smug about this legacy IP. They want to show like, yeah, we're the ones that created your childhood. We're the ones that made the billions of dollars. We're the ones that made this and that and these and those. Like, it excuses you from making bad things later on and subpar things in any company. Or we didn't release this, but we made this. Let's show off all the stuff we got just so you can get excited and point out all the things you remember growing up. Because after you get past that part, you stop enjoying the movie or the story.
True.
Here, you're pointing out all the things from the Christmas movie, but you're still enjoying the Christmas movie as it's going on. You're not just going, oh, they referenced that. Oh, they reference that, and you're just slugging to get through each part just so you can have that one little spark of joy. You're just feeling joy throughout the whole movie.
Yes, definitely. The music was perfect. That accompanied it, it was perfect. And also the cinematography, they attempted as close as possible to make this movie look like the original Christmas Story. And I love when studios do that.
Yes.
Because I don't want to look at it and know it's a different time period that you did it in. I want it to look like the other movie, and they really did it. It's almost perfect, where it's the cinematography is close, near perfect to the original Christmas Story.
Yes.
And it doesn't look like it's dated. It doesn't look like, oh, this is an old movie. It just looks like it fits within the same time frame, because this movie actually takes place in, I think, in the 70s.
Yes, because it's sometime later after the events of the other
1973,
movie.
December
That's
1973.
Yeah.
The original Christmas Story movie took place in 1940.
Right.
So, you know, Ralphie has aged 33 years
Yes.
since the last movie. And he's a 32-year-old in here. And he actually now lives in Chicago with his wife, Sandy, and their kids. And so when they go to visit the mom for the holiday, of course, they go back to Indiana. And how the movie starts, and it's not a spoiler, they are preparing and happy to get ready to go and spend the holiday with the old man and his mom. And she gives them a call and tells them that the dad passed.
Yeah.
And so they have to go there sooner to take care of things. What I do like, there's no funeral in here. There's no arrangements being made for a funeral. None of that comes up.
Right.
And I really think that was one of the smartest things they did, because it really would have ruined the movie.
Yeah, you only see Ralphie very sad, on the verge of tears, and then it cuts to black and goes to the next time. That was much better than having to really sit through that whole scenario, because too many movies have done that just to get the tearjerker. Just that long, and you knowing the actor is gone in real life was enough to hit without having to see anything.
Right. And another thing I thought was hilarious, after all this time, Papa says still lived next door.
Yes.
But thanks to PETA, of course, they didn't have all the dogs.
They had two.
It was disappointing, because you wanted to see that again.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes ever from that movie, where he's
They-
Papa says.
They even put the line.
Turkey.
They even put the line in there in one of the scenes where they're going through all his famous lines. The first one was Papa says. It's like, oh, so someone else loved him more than you did.
Yes. And you get to see his relationship with his mom is great, and the kids love the mom. And Rascal pointed out, I bet you the mom doesn't like the wife.
Because they
It's
never
not
do.
the type of dislike where she's rude and horrible to her, but you can tell in a little thing she said.
Yeah, in
and
comments.
little things that happen. One scene in particular where they have carolers coming, and the mom hates carolers. She said they never leave, so she made them turn off the light. No, it's not the lamp light with the leg.
No, that's the only thing they couldn't bring back.
Right. It turned off the lights, and she made them get on the floor, and then Ralphie's wife goes, this is just silly. So she gets up to go open the door, and his mom trips her, and she hits the floor.
my
And
gosh.
he's just laughing hysterically, because she's like, get down. And so she said, okay, now I have to answer the door. Escape out the back.
Right.
And she opens the door, and she's just saying, her like, yeah, okay. That was one of the funniest, most brilliant parts of this movie. And then you see other scenes where, actually after this visit, she's closer to the daughter-in-law. Probably because, one, old man is gone.
Yeah.
But two, because little things happen in here that bring them closer.
Yes.
And the ending, the last 30 minutes are very heartwarming, very emotional. Not in terms of where you just cry like a baby, but where you feel warm feelings, you feel a little sadness, and then you feel joy in seeing how this movie ends. It is the perfect ending. They could not have done anything better to end this movie. How it gets to the ending is absolutely brilliant. These guys got to get together and just make some more movies.
Yes.
Whether they're for other holidays or more winter holiday movies, whatever. They were brilliant together. Absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
And I want to make a correction. Billingsley attempted to buy the house, and he couldn't buy it, so he actually paid for an exact replica to be built of the house, the inside, and everything.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that reminds me. There's one more thing I would personally like to bring up is that when you mentioned about the ending with no spoilers, it connects to what happens in the beginning.
Yes.
This part we mentioned because they have this thing in here, and I guess it leads into how Ralphie narrated one of the best times of his life of Christmas in the first movie. Well, in here, Ralphie actually grows up to be a writer. He wants to publish a new book. He did well with one book, or maybe two. And then he wants to create the next great American epic novel.
The magnum opus, his magnum
Yes. It was called Neptune's Oblivion or something. And it's like 500 pages of I don't know what's going on.
Oh, it's more than that because the book was like inches thick.
Yeah. And they were like, there's more? And it's all, I'm working on the sequel now. Like, there's more to this? And it was so long and it sounded so boring that every publisher kept turning him down. And on one hand, you can understand empathizing with Ralphie because how many other writers have gone through this of their book not getting accepted, not getting published, being turned down and everything. And then in the other half, you're like, what the heck did you write? Where is this exhausting? And you can have more to say.
Yes. And it's a great part of the story how that's interwoven with the other events that are happening. And it's also good, I'm glad you brought that up because he's still friends with the two friends he had in the original movie. One owns a bar and the other one lives with his mom, and I don't remember what he does. And the mom,
well, one of them still gambles, taking dares and things.
Him.
Yeah.
And at this bar, it is so funny because it's like, I guess it's a shout out to a series like Cheers, because the men and some women go there and they hide from their spouses and their jobs in different places. So they get phone calls and saying, is so-and-so there? And they're shaking their head going, no. No, he's not here. You want me to take a message in case he comes by? Or she's not here, and it's hilarious. None of them want to be found, so they run to this bar to hide out, not to be found, and do what it is they want to do.
Right.
And then we get to see Scott Farkus, played by Zach Ward, who everyone knows and loves, and the bully. I don't want to tell you. I don't want to ruin it. The bully's outcome is surprising. So we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to ruin anything.
I will say Ralphie panics like crazy and he's suddenly back to being 12 years old and panicking, thinking all of these dramatizations happening in his head. He's, oh, what's he going to do? This, he's going to do that. He's going to say, pull this out, eat my piranhas, a cat says, swing behind, goodbye.
It's one of the most fun 98 minutes you're going to have this year if you watch it. And then what we recommend is watching the first movie and then watch the second movie and then go back to the first movie and then go back to the second movie.
You'll see why.
That a 24-hour repeat of both movies instead of the one movie. Do both. It's absolutely wonderful. Ignore critics. Some of them gave it like a lukewarm review. Some said it's not as fun as the first one, but it holds its own. You weren't expecting the first movie because they're all adults.
Right.
They're all older, much older adults. There's no way it was going to be like the first movie. Plus, Dylan and Darren McGavin are no longer here.
Yeah.
It's impossible it was going to be the same as the first movie, but it comes very, very close.
Yeah, very.
And I'm really proud of them making this movie.
And having
I'm
a
proud
good
of
holiday
all of them
movie.
for loving it as much as we do. And you can tell this movie wasn't made to be a cash grab. It wasn't made to make money.
Like
it was made
and
because
others.
they really just wanted to make it. And they wanted to make it for fans. And if every studio and these writers and producers could have the same type of attitude, we would get much more content like this. This just feels like home when you start watching it.
Yeah, exactly. And we hadn't had a really great Christmas movie in a while. The last one in terms of animation, I think, were Arthur Christmas and Klaus, and they were pretty far apart. As for live action, it's been even longer. You had Christmas Story Christmas, finally, and then last year they had The Holdovers, which ended up being a real great movie that people really enjoy. So even if we only get one a year, we're glad to actually see some people not just doing the Hallmark route and just making movies and spin them out, turn them out. Yes, an audience for it, but the ones that are really special have longer lifespan than the ones that just churn out movies just for the sake of you watching something cheesy for a day and forget about it.
Absolutely. So if you've seen A Christmas Story Christmas, and we hope you have, let us know what you think in the comments. Did you love it as much as we did? Did you think it was okay? Do you wish they hadn't made it? Tell us what you think. And if you haven't seen it, it's available on HBO. Well, you should say Warner Brothers' own
It was Max
services. So
Yeah.
Max, and they'll probably be playing it during this season, closer to the holiday. Probably about now.
Right. Yeah, it's
TNT
Christmas Day,
and
so why
TBS.
not?
Don't try to buy it now because you're not going to find it. It will be sold out. And that's what happened to us last year. We went to buy it in December, and it was completely sold out everywhere. Amazon was sold out. So we're so grateful that we got it during March this year to make sure we would have A Christmas Story. And then hopefully Christmas Story Christmas as well.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us again during this busy season. We appreciate you so much. Be sure to like and subscribe and to share this podcast because it really helps us out a lot. And we're so grateful for you and hope you're having a pleasant season.
Yes. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates when we give you favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for watching Mask Entertainment.
And our Mom Entertainments.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Peace. Bump us!